Hi there, this is Chris over at 3D-Palace, and I'm using Ndo2 or Ndo2 or Nd2 or something like that. Now, if you've never used Ndo2, you're going to be saying to me, "Hey Chris, why are you using it?" We all know that you're just addicted to robots and stuff in 3ds Max, and there's no real reason for you to be like using Ndo2. Well, the answer is, apart from the fact that it just crashed there, let's throw it back up again. The answer is that Ndo2 is massively useful for creating textures and stuff. So, I'll just wait for it to finish loading again, and I'll quickly guide you through some of the basic things we can do. So, left mouse button moves our preview object. Right click moves the light source. Middle mouse button rotates it. Okay, that's that. Oh yeah, and middle mouse button, if you've got a scroll wheel, is going to make it move around. Also, if you right click on it once, you can then change its shape and do all sorts of other cunning things to it. So, for example, let's go to this, which is our slightly rounded cube. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by creating a new texture. So I'm just going to open up our old friend here. And I'm going to go to images.google.com. And let's see, just pick up something simple like puzzle box texture. See if there's any of those knocking around. Oh, there you go, look. Run Le Marchand puzzle box, which is kind of what I was looking for, to be fair. So, okay, so this is from a place called the PuzzleBox shop, but it's hosted on the Minecraft forum. So this is just a pure example of what I'm doing here. And I'm going to right click and copy image. Then I'm going to make a new image, just from the copy, and do a Control and V. Okay, so this is our basically our metal shapes. Now this is obviously one of the most iconic shapes of the thing, so I'm just going to press M for marquee, and I just want to take this piece here. Now because I'm recording, it's probably not going to let me. I'll see if I can find a better image. User access control does terrible things to this computer. Hang on a second. Also, our new 3D-Palace kitten is tearing shit up in a very annoying manner. Go on, load. Gosh darn commie. Right, so images.google.com Le Marchand puzzle box. Because that's what it is. See if you can find a nice picture of one. I only really want one face if I can get it. Oh, look at that. That's exactly what I needed. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and it'll open it up. And it's obviously on some sort of Hellraiser fan site. I'm going to copy my image. And this is only really basic, however, it'll do. Now, over here, I'm just going to close this. I've still got my other one actually inside my buffer, because I've copied it. So if I go to new normal, that'll just create an empty normal like this. However, if I go to presets, and I want to choose some fairly sharp details, so let's see what we've got. Cracked mud could well work. It's very sharp, but I think small details mixed with clipboard, and now we wait. Now NDO is going to take this and it's going to convert it into a normal map. So basically we'll have areas that are kind of raised and not raised and so on. It'll be finished in a minute. There we go. And what it's done is, it may not look like it's done anything except just textured this, but it has actually created a full normal map. Like that, and we can adjust it over here just to bring out details where we think we might need them. So I can drop down the medium detail just to make it slightly sharper in places. Reduce the bumps. Let me bring this up a little bit more. Fairly, no, there we go. It was being awkward. There, so this is kind of, as you can see here, if I just move the light around, it's kind of sharpened it and tightened it a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was, yeah. And I'll move this to a slightly tighter cube so you can see it slightly better there. Now another thing we can do as well is if I go to convert, and I can make a diffuse, a specular, not a cavity, ambient occlusion. I'll make these in the clipboard as well. Just wait patiently while it does it. There we go. So now we have some more maps that have been created. So for example, this one here is the ambient occlusion map. Over here we have the specular map. This one says it's the normal map, but in fact it isn't. That's the normal map there. And this is just our basic diffuse texture. And then we can create a height map. I've never been able to, with this version, create a height map at the same time. So if I just go to clipboard again, and we'll create the last map using this. Okay, so that's our height map. Ignore the fact that it looks like complete arse. Okay, and what we're going to do is raise very fine height like that, and then I'm going to drop large height and very large height. Okay, so this will kind of refine it quite a bit. Okay, so what do we do with this stuff that we've done? Well, if I just go over here and start saving for web and devices even, because I can just save it off as TGAs, or I can just save it all as whatever I want. So I'll just go to, let's see, save. And well, I've got this folder here called tests, so I might as well use that. Let's see if there's going to be okay. Yep, I think it is. So I'm going to call this one my displacement map. Click OK. Just close it. This one, I'll save it as my normal map. This one I'll save as my ambient occlusion. This one I'll save as my specular. This one I'm not going to bother saving because I don't think I need it. This one's my real normal. And then this one's the diffuse. Okay, so let's talk about what we can do with this. Well, firstly, I'm just going to load up my 3ds Max. And because UAC hasn't stopped itself, it's going to need a little push to start. There we go. So here's Max, and I'm just going to just maximize, you know. I'll just pull myself out any old cube. And I'm just going to make it 100 units on each side. I know it's on centimeters, which would make it big enough for a clown to jump out of, but that's not the point. I'm just going to quickly convert to editable polygon. Press M to bring up my materials. I'm not even going to really bother with the what do you call it material, the nodal material. I'll just use standard. And in bitmap, just go down to tests, which I think is here. Here we are. And let's see what we've got. Should have quite a few actually. There's our diffuse. There, perfect. So I'll just put all my collapsed layers onto it. If I just do that, we can now see it. Now if I do a fast render, nothing special, yeah. Even were I to have, like, you know, a non-terrible renderer on it, there'd be nothing special there. Let's just open this up a bit. Stick a background on. There we are. And put that there. Okay, now let's just do some simple things to it. It's just a standard material here, yeah. So let's up the specular level, so you can see everything's getting shiny here. And then in the map next to specular level, just come down here. Here we are. The map next to specular level, I can just put a bitmap in here and just zoom down, or as I did it fairly recently. There we are. There's our specular. Just click open. Collapse all my layers to 1. Okay, and I'm going to invert it. So I'll just go to output and click invert. There we go. Comes through nicely there. Now then, I'm going to change my renderer just quickly. Just going to stick Mental Ray on. I'm not going to be using my normal map today. I would if I went to put it into UDK or whatever, but I can use all the other stuff for that at the minute. So let's see. We can stick a bump map in this. Same rule as before. So there's our. Where is it? Let's see. Just see what we've got. The displacement map didn't save properly, but the ambient occlusion will probably do, or the specular. I think probably the specular. And let's see how that does for pushing out the detail a little bit. It's not bad. You've got to remember it's a very low resolution texture. Yeah, and I'm going to just invert it again, so these come in instead of going out. Then I'm going to bring it right back again and change the bump to a much lower figure. There we go, like that. Okay, now we want reflectivity, so reflection. I'm going to go in here and let's have a look again into the bitmap. This will allow us to basically decide which parts are reflective and which parts aren't. So the ambient occlusion will probably do for that. Okay, just see what that has. Very reflective indeed. Lovely. So if I just invert that as well. Probably still too much. However, you can control that more by, if I go into reflection, change this instead to a fall off. I'm going to keep my old map as a sub map, so it's in the top there. My secondary map going here, like that. Just go to the original one and remove to there, to there. Just checking the outputs. A little bit less. And then over here I'm going to make it towards and away. There we go, so it's only reflective at the edges, you see. Okay, I don't need to make it self-illuminated. Have a look at the glossiness on this. Let's tighten it up a little bit. Like I say, this is a very, very low resolution texture we've been playing with here, but we're just doodling, having some fun, messing about, chilling. I don't know, whatever the hell it is we're doing. Okay, just make 3 of them like this, just so we can see them and get some decent angles in. Okay, and just hit F9. And it'll just simply render them out. Our 3 puzzle boxes. Like that. And you can see how shiny they are on the sides there, so that's pretty cool. Okay, if we just switch it over to the V-Ray, so I'll do that as well. Here we are, V-Ray. And turn that on. Under Radiance Map, I'm going to show my calculation phase. I'll keep high on for the moment. And just put a plane underneath it so we can see what's going on better. And in fact what we could do is just do that, because it looks pretty. Okay, and now I'm going to take a light and just make it a V-Ray light. Just flip it like this. Chun, chun, chun. And I'm going to turn it around. Now I'm going to lift it up so we can see it. And that should pick up some of the light nicely. I'll just move this slightly out of the scene a bit. And hit F9. Still pretty dark. My scene's a little bit washed out there. There we go. I think I'll set a second light up, just quickly. I'll make this one a teeny bit smaller, because the size of the light directly relates to how bright it is, unlike if you're working with standard 3ds Max lighting. Okay, move that over to somewhere over here, I think. And up. There we go. Let's get the shadows in a bit. Okay, that's fine. And because I've only recorded for 16 minutes and I hate letting people think they're not getting good value, I'm just going to grab this, shift, drag it down. So I just want this bottom piece now. I'm only interested in that surrounding area. And just detach it. Now I'm going to do a UVW map and make it box. I think I've got it on the wrong part actually, hang on. Yeah, have a look, this part. UVW map, box, now you should see the faces again. And now I can tile them. So 10, I think, on each. So 10 on the U, not 10 on the V, but 10 on the W. Okay, so that will, as you can see, do that. Now if I come to here, and just go there, right click on perspective, click show safe frames. Should make quite a nice pretty little picture, even though it's low resolution. Let's make sure we get the lights out of the scene. And I'm going to hit F9. There we go. We'll do the samples first. You can see the emissive light where it's shining off the boxes. And there we go. How to make your very own, very simple Le Marchand puzzle box texture using Ndo, or Ndo2, or Nd2. Hope you enjoyed it. TTFN.